Well, hello, and welcome back to our BBC. I'm continuing a series on the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. And I think I did a short talk on Refuge and a short talk on the Buddha. I'm a little confused because last night I talked for an hour about this, and you can certainly listen to that too. But I want this to be a little series on the BBC, so I'm going to move on to the Dharma. And I'm really going to review what I learned and shared last night about the Dharma. These topics, you know, we get so, or I at least should say me, and I think others, we get very facile about them, like, oh yeah, I take refuge in the three jewels. Oh yeah, Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. And then if we get some time and take some time and really delve in, it's quite lovely how it just opens and opens and opens more and more and more. So along with your meditation practice, if you can study a little bit each day, or at least a good, hour each week. I don't know how busy your lives are, or actually I do, having had a very busy life. But if you can take that kind of time, it will be, it will give you more back than you put into it. Okay, I've got something in my throat. So turning to the Dharma, one of the shortest ways to think about the Dharma is it's the truth of reality as it is, which generally we don't understand. And that's a big part of why we continue to cycle around and around and around, following ignorance, following attachment, following anger, because we really don't have a sense of what we are, what our situation is, what so-called others are, what the path is, what the Buddha is, what the Dharma is, what refuge is. So the one interpretation of this is that which holds or protects. The Dharma is that which holds or protects. So it's holding us back from this danger of our ignorance, grasping at a self that in fact does not exist. Isn't that amazing? We grasp at something that's not there, and that's not bad enough. Then we follow it around. We make it up, and then we go, oh, I'm going to do that. Oh my gosh. Anyway, so this is what we're dealing with. Not that I know what we really are or have much of a view, but at least I'm getting a much clearer view of the problem. Thanks to teachers and study and practice. The Dharma is the result of Buddha's awakening. So think about that. When he awoke, the Dharma is the result of that. That is what he taught once he reached full awakening. And to paraphrase one spiritual teacher, finding something, a spiritual path like the Dharma, is finding a love that has never broken trust with me. So this is how reliable the Dharma is. So you have to test that out. You can't just take someone's word for it. You test it out, you test it out, you test it out, and you see. If it works for you, then it does. The Dharma leads us to understand what we are. What's a human being? What's this body? What's a mind? What are thoughts? What are emotions? What are these stories that I tell myself in my mind? What are they made up of? What are they based on? So the Dharma leads us into understanding deeply all of that. And then it leads us to, if we practice, and this is the key thing, it's not going to do this by magic. It's not like, oh, okay, I heard the Dharma, now boom. We have to practice, practice, practice. But it will eventually lead us to see the truth. this emptiness of the inherent existence of everything, including our own selves. And what's so beautiful about that, I think, at least at this very beginning level that I understand it, is the interdependence of everything. I feel so much less alone since I found the Dharma. Even when I am alone, even when I'm feeling lonely, I somehow more know I'm not alone, solo, singular, in a bubble that no one can penetrate, and I cannot connect with them. That has gone down a lot. It challenges this myth of a separate self, and then that frees us. So it is the truth of the cessation of suffering. So Dharma has two aspects: the realizations of the path, especially the wisdom realizing reality, which includes this lack of inherent existence and the dependent arising and the way they come together, as Lama Tsongkhapa has so clearly put forth. That's the first thing, realizations of the path, especially the wisdom realizing reality. And it's the cessations of all suffering from these realizations. So based on the realizations, suffering stops. That's wonderful. So when I was looking up various quotes about the Dharma, Khensur Jampa Tekchok says, the direct realization of emptiness is known as the actual refuge, because it completely eliminates the root of cyclic existence, this grasping at a self, the self-grasping ignorance. When the foundation, that foundation of cyclic existence has been destroyed, everything that depends on that foundation, the afflictions and karma, also crumble. Isn't that lovely? So we'll get a chance to do that sometime. It could be a long time, but sometime, I think so. If we do what our teachers say, if we practice, if we really hold these things in mind, and we base our faith on reason, on our own experience, and on the experience of our teachers, reasoning it out, I think this can happen. So I'm going to close with one of the quotes I looked at last night, and this one comes from this beautiful prayer by Venerable Chitran, Taking Refuge in Precepts. And this one brings them all, the three jewels, together. And it also talks about a different dimension than I've talked about. But maybe the next BBC, when I talk about Sangha, we'll look at this too. I take refuge not only in the outer three jewels, those beings who are Buddhas or Sangha and the Dharma in their mind streams, but I also take refuge in the inner three jewels, the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha that I will become in the future. Because I have the Buddha potential within me at this very moment, and will always have this potential as an inseparable part of my mind. The outer three jewels will act as the cause for me to be transformed into the resultant inner three jewels. So that's what happens if we rely on these so-called outer. Of course, at one point we're going to realize outer and inner are made up too. But we will develop this inner three jewels. And we're never separated, inseparable. Okay, so hold that and be happy about it. And we'll see you next BBC, because it's really good news.